Hello there, and welcome back to the Chap's Guide, the channel where we talk about men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Bit of a different video today, bit less formal than my normal videos. I've stepped out into the countryside. It's an early morning and I just wanted to have a chat with you, really make this more of a conversational style interaction, because I've been thinking about the situation that people have been under over the last year. Let's be honest, 2020 has not been a great year for men, whether you like style or whether you don't. And many people have been through the financial ringer, and we don't have the disposable income that many of us have had in the past to spend on luxuries, perhaps, which we might consider to be style. So I thought I'd make a video, and I've made a list of the way that you can boost your style without spending much money. Hopefully it'll help you stay looking sharp regardless of the financial situation that you find yourself in. So let's get started. Well, the first tip I'd like to give you really is don't discount buying pre-owned. It can be a fantastic route into getting amazing deals and bargains that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to afford. Now I know some of you are sat there right now shaking your head saying, I will never buy anything second-hand or wear something that some other guy, could be anywhere, has bought and worn in the past. Well, I have to tell you guys, if you adopt that mindset, you are missing out on a potentially bottomless pit of great bargains and things that can enhance your style for a fraction of their original cost. And this goes for everything. So if you watch this channel for any length of time, you will know that I like shoes. They're an expensive purchase, right? They can cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds, dollars, wherever you live. But I sourced the vast majority of mine from eBay, where I can pick up a pair of shoes that cost hundreds of pounds for a fraction of their original price. And I've done that time after time after time, because I'm careful about what I buy. I research what I'm going to buy. I know exactly what's on offer. I can see what I'm going to buy, and I have very rarely, if ever, been disappointed with my purchases. So on the shoe front, it's a winner. On even more personal things that you wear next to your skin, so shirts. I've bought numerous shirts from Turnbull and Asser. I'm a big fan of the London bespoke shirt manufacturer Turnbull and Asser. Now if you walked into that shop in Jermyn Street, you would pay £200–300 for a bespoke shirt. Now, I'm not talking bespoke, obviously, I'm talking about off the shelf. But I've got a collection probably of about 15 Turnbull and Asser shirts, T&A shirts, that I have never paid more than £20 for. And they are absolutely first class, because again, I've researched them, I know what I'm buying, and when I look at the images, I don't make any mistakes. I only purchase things which are of good quality. And finally, probably the best example I can give you is outer garmentry. So coming up, it's the autumn that I'm filming this in the UK. Last year I filmed a video on Crombie overcoats. Now I'm a huge fan of Crombie. The only downside to Crombie overcoats, which are a fantastic heritage brand, which are absolutely bestowed with the traditions of the finest qualities of menswear, they cost a fortune. So a good quality Crombie overcoat made of first class wool will cost in excess of £1,000 and beyond. I picked one up off eBay last year. It had been worn once. I had a proper conversation with the owner, discovered that it had only ever been worn once, for £100. So a tenth of its original price. It came in its original packing with a label in the pocket. It was a first class purchase that I will wear for the rest of my life. And if my son's the same size or shape as me, he'll inherit it after I go as well. So you can get some magnificent bargains if you can get over that hurdle in your mind that buying pre-owned is something that you shouldn't do. Think again for amazing bargains. Now my second tip is all about making the most of what you've already got. Now I have no doubt if we walked up to your wardrobe right now, looked inside, we would find numerous garments that you haven't worn for months, maybe years, and they don't fit you. They don't fit you because they're either too large or most likely too small, right? We've all got those jackets that we expect to lose weight to get into at some point, or we've had since we were a bit bigger and we wonder if we're ever going to gain weight, so we've hung on to them. Well, the tip is get those items tailored so that they actually fit you. So without having to go and buy anything, you can reactivate clothes that are already in your wardrobe and get them working for you straight away. Go to the tailor, invest a bit of money, and get that jacket altered to fit you as you are now, and you can start wearing it straight away. You don't have to buy a new jacket, and it's cost you a fraction of the price. So get the clothes that you put aside to fit you again, and it doesn't cost you virtually anything. Now, staying on that theme of tailors, they are people who are well worth making local allies if you want to boost your style on a budget, because they can save you a fortune, or they can certainly help you look better for a small amount of money. So let me throw a scenario at you. You're applied for a job, and lo and behold, you've been called forward for an interview, but you don't actually own a suit, or you've gained or lost weight since the last time you wore a suit, and you don't have one that fits you and doesn't look any good. What do? Well, imagine you've got a budget of £100. You go along to your local supermarket, because I don't know what it's like where you live, but in the UK, most of the larger brand supermarkets have all got clothing ranges, and they all include some form of suit, be it a charcoal two-piece grey suit or a navy blue suit, and they've all got one of those in the range there. More likely than not, they're probably made of some sort of polyester blend. They're not top quality, but they tend to cost £50, £60 all in for your two-part suit. It's a great start. Probably not going to fit you well, because they're probably going to be small, medium or large, and that does not fit anybody very well. But you take your £50 suit and you go to the local tailor, and you tell the tailor your story. You tell him, I've got a job interview coming up, I've got this £50 suit, I've got a £100 budget, so I've got 50 quid to go, £50 to play with, what can you do for me? And they will make that suit fit you as best as it possibly can. They'll tailor the jacket in to fit the contours of your body so that it accentuates your positives and hides your negatives. They'll make the trousers fit proper. The break of your trouser length will fit properly to your shoes, and you will look like a lot more than you're wearing a £50 suit. And when you go in for the interview, you will feel confident and you will look good. Now, as I say, it's not going to be the best suit in the world, but it is going to fit like any suit that you can buy for many, many times more money. So make those tailors your allies. And don't forget, they can also repair clothes that are damaged as well. So if you've got a pair of trousers that the zipper's broken, you might ordinarily throw that away. Take it to the tailor and they'll be able to fit a new zip for you, saving you a fortune. So make those tailors your friends. You won't regret it. So on the subject of our cheap £50 suit, how can you jazz it up? Well, my next tip is all around making the accessories work for you and make you look better than the cost of your clothing actually represents. And what I mean by that, well, let's go back to that £50 charcoal grey suit made in polyester, okay? It's not very exciting, there's no two ways about it. And even if it's been tailored well, it's still a cheap suit. So how do you draw the eye of the people that you meet away from your suit and you don't spend a lot of money in the process? Well, it's the accessories. It's the pocket square that you buy. Pocket squares can cost virtually nothing. You can make them even. If you've got an old shirt in your wardrobe that's got a pattern on it, doesn't really fit you that well, or it's a bit worn out, frayed at the collars or the cuffs, cut it up into squares, turn it into a pocket square. Or look around the house, what other material have you got that can be employed as a pocket square? Or go on AliExpress and see what you can get for £1. You can normally pick up pocket squares for 99p, and they're not great. Again, polyester, but they've got a lovely bit of colour, they can draw the eye, and they will distract from the inferior quality of your suit. Same goes for a tie. Get yourself some ties, get down to the charity shop. A tie, a silk tie can cost a few pence in the charity shop, the thrift shop, and or look around, go and ask your dad or other relatives, have they got a spare tie, and with a bit of colour, and it will draw the eye, it will jazz you up. Put a lapel pin on your lapel of your suit, draws the eye. I've done a whole video on that recently. It just really helps distract the attention away from your cheap suit. So the accessories can make a big difference. Wear a waistcoat, a contrasting waistcoat to the suit that you're wearing. Make sure you don't do anything that clashes, wear colours that don't match, don't go charcoal and navy or anything like that. But have a look around, go through the wardrobe of your father or your relatives and see if there's something that would work there which will make that suit look a damn sight better than the money that you paid for it. Now the next tip is all about your grooming in fact, because when we talk about style, it's not just about the things that we put onto our body, it's our body itself. And let's think about the style really of your personal grooming. So if you want to change up your appearance, look a bit more stylish, and you're a man who wears a beard, whiskers, trim those whiskers a bit differently. Get a bit of a few lines into it, so you look more defined, alter the way that beard looks. It doesn't cost anything to do a little bit of topiary, bit of shaving, that'll make you look a hell of a lot different. Similarly, why not try growing a beard? Okay, if you want to really alter your style dramatically, grow some facial hair, grow a moustache, see what it looks like. It doesn't cost a penny. It's one of those things which happens even if you don't want it, and it actually saves you money, doesn't it? Because by not shaving, you're saving money on shaving products. So, alter your appearance by the way that you affect your grooming. And on that note, you can also alter the sensory aspects of your grooming by altering your cologne. So if you're a person who doesn't normally wear cologne, well, you can really instill a different impression in people if you smell wonderful and clean and fresh. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to buy a good quality, beautiful smelling cologne. Now I do lots of reviews on this channel about colognes, and I never spend a lot of money on them. The vast amount are between £10 and £20 because I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a tightwad. I find it very difficult to part with large sums of money to buy, these top-end fashionable colognes because I really don't think you need to. I look backwards in time and I've been buying a lot of colognes from the 80s and the 90s, which I think hit the mark perfectly. They're still valid today and they cost a small amount of money. And when you meet people, there's nothing like leaving the impression that you smell great, lovely, clean and fresh, and it's what sticks in the mind of the people that you meet. So it's a great way of boosting your style by the way that you smell. Well, can I say I hope you're enjoying this video so far. If you are, do me the good favour of giving us a thumbs up and think about joining us here at the Chaps Guide by clicking that subscribe button as well. That way you won't miss any of the future material that we put out, and I'd also encourage you to interact with us in the comment section below. Okay, so my next tip is all about making sure you buy the right things when you've got the cash. So let's go back to our scenario. You've got the job. You've now got a few pay packets coming in and you decide to enhance your style by making some frugal purchases. So you go down the shop and the first thing that you see which looks stylish, you're going to make a purchase because that's what they're there to do. They're there to make you part with your money. But my advice is before you go shopping, go to your wardrobe with a sheet of paper and a pen. Stand in front of that wardrobe and look at what's in there. What gaps do you have that you would really like to fill that will boost the interchangeability of your wardrobe? Are you lacking in a blazer? A navy blue blazer is an incredibly interchangeable item which can be worn across practically every spectrum of formality and informality, and it's well worth adding to your wardrobe. If you haven't got one, write that on the list. If you need a pair of grey flannel trousers to go with your blazer, write that on the list. That way, when you head into that menswear shop to look around, you won't be drawn into buying those fancy items that are displayed in front of you when you walk in. If you've got a list, you will be more likely to buy the things that you need rather than the things that you want. Make a list to make sure you buy what you need. So you've started making a few purchases gingerly with your new income. I would strongly suggest you start off by investing your money in multi-seasonal staple items that you can wear throughout the year, rather than buying some items which are clearly defined by a season. So what I mean by that, so a linen jacket for instance, a linen blazer or sports jacket, pretty much can only be worn in the warmer months. And if you live in the northern hemisphere, in the UK like I do, that really limits them to about 4 or 5 months of the year. It's far better, far more sensible to invest your very hard-earned funds in things that can be worn throughout the year, like a bomber jacket. I'm wearing a bomber jacket today. I've got one in a khaki colour as well as a navy blue colour. These can be worn throughout the year. In a cool summer's evening, you can throw this on. On a warm winter's day, where it's not too cold, you can throw this on. It's something which is easily interchangeable, a bit like a woolen blazer. Again, can be worn throughout the year. Far better than buying things which are closely focused in the month that, in the cooler months or the warmer months. You really don't get your money's worth out of them if you invest lots of money in items like that. So stick to foundation items that can be worn throughout the year to get your best return for your investment. Now my next tip is all about seeking those bargains and discounts and driving the best possible price that you can, because there is always negotiation. And you'd be amazed how often you can actually get the prices knocked down. I'll give you an example. The other day I was in the city of Bath, not too far from where I live, and I was in a Loke shoe shop, a boutique, and I was looking at the shoes. They were beautiful. Wasn't actually thinking about making a purchase on that particular day. I was just seeing the new range, but I was wearing a pair of mirror shine shoes myself, and the sale agent looks at my shoes and says, "Sir, you've done a good job on the shoes there. How did you learn to bull your shoes to such a high level?" I said, "Oh, I used to be in the military and I learned it as a young lad." And he said, "Do you realise we give a 15% discount for serving and veteran military and people who worked in the emergency services?" I had no idea at all. And 15% is well worth chasing if you're buying shoes which are £100, £200, £300. It really starts to come back to you, and that money can be invested in other items. So this tip really is never be afraid to ask if there are any discounts or special sales levels which are applied to your profession or anything that you're involved in. There is no cheekiness, I think, at all in saying to a sales agent, do you give discounts for any particular professions? And if they say, yeah, we do. We give discount for veterans or people who are a member of a certain sports club or whatever. You may be in that category, and you may save 15, 20, 10%. It's money in your pocket that can be invested somewhere else. And on that note, always try to buy those big foundation purchases out of season, because that's where you're likely to drive the best bargains. There is no discount on overcoats in November and December, but you try and buy that same coat in June and July and there will be negotiation. There's always negotiation. It's a bit like trying to buy a tent in the middle of winter time. Nobody goes camping in December, but you try and buy that in June, you will never get a discount. So think about the time of year. Even if you don't want to buy an overcoat in June, it might be your opportunity to take a third off the price. So give it a thought when you buy those big ticket items as to the time of year that you buy them. So thanks for staying tuned so far. I've come to the end of my main tips, but I've got a few bonuses for you which are a bit out there, but they can help change up your style for virtually no cost. The first one is swapping signature pieces. So let's say, for instance, you've got a black overcoat and you've been wearing it for the last 5 years. You're a bit sick to death of it and everybody's seen you in it. Now you could do a few things like changing the scarf to make it look different, but it's still going to be a black overcoat. Now you've got a buddy who's about the same size as you and he's got a blue overcoat and he's been wearing it for years as well, and you're both sick of seeing each other in those overcoats. Why don't you swap them over for a season? You wear the blue one, he wears the black one, and swap them over in a year's time. That way you change up your style, people will see you in something different and it'll make you look fresh and more stylish. And it hasn't cost you a penny. There's a good little tip for you. And finally, have a look through that wardrobe. There's probably some items in there, that you've never worn. You bought them rashly. Let's say you bought a pair of pink chino trousers with the full intention of wearing them, but actually, when it came down to it, you never had the bottle to put them on and wear them out in public. And they've sat in your wardrobe for 5 years, never worn. Well, get down the hardware store, invest £5 in a packet of clothing dye, throw it in the washing machine with those pink trousers, and voila, you've got a pair of navy blue chinos that you can wear day in, day out, week out, and they've only cost you £5 instead of 35, 45, 55 pounds. Great way of getting your money back on something that's gathering dust in the wardrobe. And don't forget, the same can be done for leather. So if you've got a pair of, I don't know, light walnut shoes that you don't really connect with, they don't really work for you, again, get down the hardware store or go on Amazon, get yourself some leather dye and dye them dark brown, black or whatever, and you've got another pair of shoes that you add to your collection, and again, it's cost you virtually nothing, and that leather dye really works and it'll last for a lifetime. So there we go, folks. Those are my tips and some advice that can help you up your style for no cost whatsoever. I hope it's been helpful for you. I mean, these are tips that I've been living my sartorial life rather frugally ever since I've been around, because I don't have loads of money to invest in clothing either. Style is an expensive business, but it doesn't have to be. It can actually be achieved at very modest sums of money. And those are just some tips. Even if you take one of those tips away and apply it, it can save you cash that you can invest in some other luxury items for yourself or your family. So give it a go. Thanks for watching today. Thumbs up, subscribe if you really like what you've seen, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Until then, look after yourselves and your family, take care, and I'll see you back here soon.